The worst thing you can do with $10,000 is try to be smart with it. I know that sounds backwards, but stay with me, because this mistake cost me $2,300, and I made it in less than 90 days. The day I hit $10,000, I drove to the same parking lot I used to sit in when I had $47 in my account. Same spot, same phone. Except this time, instead of dread, I felt something I had never felt before in my adult life. Options. For the first time, I had actual options. And then I did what almost everyone does at this exact moment. I got complicated. 3 months of Reddit threads at 2 a.m., crypto research, stock screeners, waiting for the perfect moment to invest. Do you know what the S&P 500 did in those 3 months? Went up 7.3%. On $10,000, that is $730. Not because I lost money, not because I made a bad bet, because I was too careful to put it anywhere. Today, I'm going to show you exactly, step by step, in what order, where every dollar goes the moment you hit 10,000. No Reddit threads, no stock picking, no hot tips. Just the system I wish someone had handed me the day I hit that number. Before we get into it, drop your current savings balance in the comments right now. Whatever it is, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. We're going to come back to that number at the end, and I want you to see something that will completely change how you look at it. Let me tell you something it took me years to understand. There is a difference between saving money and building wealth, and most people never make the shift from one to the other. Saving money is defensive. It is your protection, your shield, your foundation. It is everything we built in the last 3 videos. Building wealth is offensive. It is your money working for you while you sleep, while you work, while you are watching this video right now. At $10,000, you cross the line from defensive to offensive, and most people never make that shift, not because they don't want to, because nobody ever explains what offensive actually looks like. Let me show you with one number. If you invest $10,000 in an S&P 500 index fund at age 25 and never add another dollar, by age 55, you have $174,494. Same 10,000, no extra contributions, just time. Now watch what happens if you wait 1 year. Same 10,000, invested at age 26 instead of 25. 1 year. $15,863 gone. Not from a bad investment, not from crypto, not from losing money, from sitting still. Every single year you don't start is roughly $15,000 you hand back to time. Quick question. Be honest in the comments. How long have you had money sitting in savings that you knew you should invest, but didn't? 1 month? 6 months? 2 years? Drop it. No judgment. I already told you mine was 3 months. Here is what stops most people from investing. They think it requires knowing which stocks to pick, which companies will win, which sectors will grow, which moment to buy. It does not. Let me prove it to you with the most credible source I know. Warren Buffett, the man widely considered the greatest investor who ever lived, has publicly stated multiple times that when he dies, he wants 90% of his wife's inheritance put into one thing. Not individual stocks, not hedge funds, not real estate. One simple index fund. If the greatest investor alive trusts an index fund with the people he loves most, I think we can trust it too. So what is an index fund exactly? Think of it this way. Instead of betting on one horse, you buy a tiny piece of all 500 horses. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Visa, Johnson & Johnson, all of them, one purchase. When America does well, you do well. When one company struggles, 499 others carry you. You are not betting on one company. You are betting on America's economy. And in 100 years, that bet has never lost long term. The S&P 500 has returned an average of 10.2% per year for the last 100 years. Not some years, average. Through the Great Depression, through World War II, through 9/11, through 2008, through COVID. Every single crash, every single panic, every this time is different, the market recovered and kept going higher. And here is what the data says about professionals trying to beat it. S&P Dow Jones indices found that over a 20-year period, 94% of actively managed funds run by full-time professionals with teams of analysts failed to beat a simple index fund. If professionals with billions of dollars can't do it, the index fund is the move. Now let me show you exactly where your money goes, in the exact order it should go. Miss the order, it costs you. Get the order right, everything compounds. Before you invest a single dollar, your emergency fund stays solid. $3,000 to $5,000, HYSA, untouched. I know you've heard this before in this series. I'm saying it again because here's what happens without it. Market drops 20%. You need cash for an emergency. You panic sell at the worst possible moment. You lock in losses. You swear off investing forever. Emergency fund first. Always. Non-negotiable. If you don't have a Roth IRA, this is the most important account you will ever open. And I need to tell you something most people get wrong about it. A Roth IRA is not an investment. It's a container. It's a special account the government gives you a tax advantage on. Inside that container, you choose what to invest in. Usually index funds, which we'll get to in 1 second. Here is the tax math in real dollars. In a regular account, you pay taxes on your gains every year. In a Roth IRA, you pay taxes on the money going in, and then never again. On $10,000 growing to $174,000, that tax difference is worth $30,000 to $50,000 from one account choice. You can contribute up to $7,000 per year right now. Open one at Fidelity or Vanguard, both free, both take 15 minutes. Inside your Roth IRA, buy one of these two funds. FXAI at Fidelity or VFIAX at Vanguard. Both track the S&P 500. Annual fee on $10,000? $5. That's it. Set up automatic monthly contributions. Do not touch it. If your employer offers a 401k with a match, contribute at least enough to get the full match. This is the only guaranteed 100% return that exists in finance. Your employer gives you free money, dollar for dollar, up to a certain percentage of your salary. If you don't take it, you are leaving part of your salary on the table every single month. Anything left after your Roth IRA and 401k match goes into a regular taxable brokerage account. Fidelity, Vanguard, Schwab, all free, all excellent. Buy VOO or FXAIX, automated. Same day as paycheck, before you see it, before you touch it. Set it, forget it, check it once a year. That is the entire system. In that order, every time, no exceptions. Now let me tell you the 3 mistakes I made so you don't make them too. These are not hypothetical. These are real money I lost. I spent 6 months researching individual companies, reading earnings reports, following analysts, feeling smart. I put $3,000 into 4 individual stocks. 8 months later, down 23%. My index fund, which I barely touched, up 11%. I thought I was smarter than a simple index fund. I was not. Almost nobody is. The SIVA study found that over a 20-year period, 94% of professionally managed funds failed to beat the index. If professionals can't do it, I definitely could not. The market was at an all-time high. I thought it has to come down. I'll wait for the dip. The market went up 18% while I waited. Here's what nobody tells you about all-time highs. According to data from Ben Carlson at Ritholtz Wealth Management, the S&P 500 hits new all-time highs roughly 50 times per year on average. If you wait for a crash every time you see a high, you will always be waiting. The best time to invest was yesterday. The second best time is today. Not after the crash, not after the election, not after things settle down. Today. March 2020. The market dropped 34% in 33 days. I panicked. I sold everything. I told myself, this is different. This is the end. The market recovered 100% in 5 months. The people who held through the crash made their money back and then some. The people who sold locked in their losses and missed the entire recovery. I was one of the people who sold, and I will never do it again because I learned the hardest lesson in investing. The crash is not the risk. Your reaction to the crash is the risk. Write that down. Seriously, that one sentence would have saved me more money than anything else in this video. Have you ever sold an investment during a crash or almost did? Drop it in the comments, because I promise you are not alone, and understanding why it happens is the only way to stop it. Go back to that number you dropped in the comments, your savings balance. I want you to do one calculation right now. Take that number and multiply it by 17. That is roughly what it becomes in 30 years at the S&P 500's historical return. Now add $200 a month on top of your starting balance. $500,000 on a $42,000 salary. No inheritance, no windfall, no complicated strategy. Just starting and not stopping. And here's the flip side of that calculation. Every year you delay, you lose roughly $15,000 to $17,000 in future wealth. Not from a bad investment, from sitting still. That is the cost of the freeze. That is the cost of the Reddit threads at 2 a.m. That is the cost of waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. Here's everything in order one more time. If it's not fully funded, top it off from your $10,000 first. Contribute up to $7,000 by FXAIX or VFIAX. Set up automatic monthly. No exceptions. That is free money you are owed. Same day as paycheck, before you see it, before you spend it. 5 steps. That is the entire framework. Everything that comes after this, real estate, advanced strategies, individual stocks, builds on top of this foundation. But you don't need any of that yet. You need this running on autopilot. I want to go back to that parking lot for a second. When I was sitting there with $47, I didn't need a better stock tip. I didn't need a hot sector. I needed someone to sit down with me and tell me exactly what to do, in order. Nobody did that, so I figured it out the expensive way. $2,300 of expensive lessons, 3 months of waiting, a COVID sell I will never forgive myself for. You don't have to do it the expensive way. Go back to that number you dropped in the comments. Multiply it by 17. That is what you are protecting. That is what you are building toward. Drop that final number in the comments. Tell me what your savings becomes in 30 years. Make it real. Write it down. Because the people who write it down are the people who actually get there. If this series has been giving you the financial education you should have gotten in school but didn't, subscribe. Every week, one concept, real numbers, zero fluff. The kind of content that doesn't just explain money, it changes how you actually use it. And the next video is the one that most people in this community say changed everything. Because once your $10,000 is invested, the question shifts. It's no longer how do I save more, it becomes how do I make my income do more work than I do. That video is on screen right now. I'll see you there.